Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Martich here with your outlook for March 1st, 2018. First day of meteorological spring starts today, but you'll never know it with this storm system that's coming in. We're going to have some very crazy weather over the next 48 hours or so. And today we're going to start off cloudy this morning. I don't think any precipitation works in today, but we have this system cutting into the Ohio Valley. This is going to bring rain everywhere across our region, and that is going to move in probably during the afternoon hours, maybe early afternoon further southwest here, but should be mid to late afternoon further east. And that rain will continue through the evening and the overnight period, and will be heavy at times going into Friday morning. So that's the easy part. We knew what was going to happen with that. Okay, so we can move this ahead here. You can see this main system, and this is the primary low, and it's going actually to redevelop to a system. It's hard to see here. It's not this one. This is going to hand off its energy to a system. This little dot right here. This is the secondary low it's going to transfer to, and then that is going to take over as the primary, as this area of low pressure dies and transfers its energy down here. So that's what's going to be going on today, but we are going to have the rain associated with the primary low, and of course, as the primary is coming to your west, you're warm, and that's why we're going to have rain for a boatload of this storm here. Secondary moves offshore. You can see the transfer is not complete here yet, though. This is just after midnight on Thursday night, so we are still rain across the entire region. And that goes into Friday morning. Now, once we get to Friday morning, this low now takes over as a primary and consolidates. And the parent low that was out in the Ohio Valley is now merged in with this. So what this low is going to do is what we call occluding. So it's going to basically stall the system. So you have this area low pressure right here. This is going to stall and do a loop and retrograde, and then it's going to head back eastward. Okay, so that's what it's going to do. So we have during that process of occlusion, you have all this precipitation up here with the occluded low. This is now going to form like a comma head almost with the occluded low, and as it retrogrades back, we're going to have some cold air under that's going to be drawn down from the upper levels with the upper level low that's also present. That's going to be also merging with this system. This is going to be kind of like a multiple level stacked storm here. This is going to be a pretty intense storm and bombing out offshore, but you're going to have the dynamics are going to be such that where you have the heavier precipitation, you're going to see rain changing to snow, and that's going to start off with areas of elevation first up in northeastern Pennsylvania and extreme northern Pennsylvania, and it's going to work its way down to lower latitudes and lower elevations all at the same time. It's going to be through the course of the day here on Friday. So question is, how far south does it get? And there's some models, especially the NAM, that has been very, very consistent in showing, persistent I should say, in showing some accumulating snow pretty far south, all the way down to the I-95 corridor with some pretty decent accumulating snow. So that is a possibility, but you can see as this slow loops and retrogrades, this model only takes it down to just below the Cape here, off of Cape, just below Cape Cod. That's about as far as it gets. It does get it pretty intense, but you can see the heaviest precipitation is up further to the north. So there's only so much snow that can't get too far south on this particular run of this model. But we're going to go over another look here. And this is the NAM that ran this evening. This is a precipitation type map, so you'll be able to see the blue is snow, the green is rain. Same general concept. You have the primary cutting into eastern Ohio, western Pennsylvania. Again, it's going to transfer its energy to this one down here, not this one here. This is going to scoot out of the way. Actually, it's going to get absorbed in this whole mess. And once this this is going to end up transferring to this one right here. So the next frame, you can see that transfer starting. It's going to be transferred to this one. But we're still rain here in the overnight period. We're looking at, actually, this is looking at 10 p.m. on, or I'm sorry, 10 p.m. on Thursday evening, and then here is 1 a.m. Here is 4 a.m. Now you can see some snow starting to work in across the far northern tier, which was expected. This one here is starting to capture itself a lot closer to the coast than these other models are having it, so that is going to make a big difference. If this is including south of Long Island and not Cape Cod, well, that changes the ball game a little bit. Then you get this comma head. Instead of being out further east, it's now going to, you have the comma head coming up and over the top like this, and it's going to, and that's going to bring in the cold air all the way down into eastern parts, eastern Pennsylvania and parts of New Jersey, all the way down to near the Philadelphia area. So this is why it's doing it. It's including so far west that and then just bombing. It's going to turn into a 977 millibar low. So you can see what it's doing here. You got some pretty intense snow coming down across the Poconos first in northern New Jersey, and then that gets down pretty far south all the way to the Delaware Valley here, and these temperatures crash as a result. So if this does in fact happen, and this is this strong and this far west, we are obviously going to have to change our snow maps and our thinking from our preliminary outlook that we did yesterday, and bring this a little bit further south. Not ready to buy into this yet, but if I see 2 more consecutive runs of the NAM doing this and the overnight guidance trending in that direction toward what the NAM is showing here and they're trying to sell, we'll probably go into storm mode tomorrow morning around 10 o'clock, or maybe earlier than that. So, and I mean probably Godzilla, because we're going to be dealing with some foot-plus snow amounts if this is even remotely close. Don't want to go there yet, but there's other facets of the storm that would also lead us to go into at least regular storm mode, and that is because we're going to have some pretty intense winds with this system. And this is looking at Friday evening around 7 p.m. These are not wind gusts. These are sustained winds, and they are 20 to 30, 25 to 35. You got some up here, sustained winds that are over 40 in spots. So this is just sustained winds, not even to consider the gusts. So there are going to be some pretty intense winds to deal with Friday afternoon, Friday evening, and at least part of the overnight. And then I think it's still breezy here on Saturday morning, at least for the eastern areas. There's going to be a lot of beach erosion and high surf, high waves, and coastal flooding type thing here, and very high winds along the shore points too. So there's going to be a pretty big mess here. And then we also, of course, before any changeover to rain, we have a decent amount of rain falling, before any changeover to snow, I should say, on Friday. This is the rainfall amounts through that point. You're talking over an inch, inch and a half in some spots here. It's not down here though, because you're dry slotted with that transfer from the primary low going from the Ohio Valley to the secondary offshore. So you're going to get miss out on a lot of the rain down in these areas, but in most of our coverage area, we're talking about an inch, inch and a half of rain before any changeover or considering any changeover to snow on Friday. So that's what we're dealing with, a very high impact system. The question is how intense does this get, and how far west does this get? And then we can get into some of that heavier snow in eastern Pennsylvania with that system. So a lot of things still we're going to narrow down for a final call that we're going to be doing today at 5 o'clock. And we'll be going into storm mode this morning one way or another. It's uncertain whether it's just going to be regular storm mode or we're going to be going into Godzilla storm mode for something more impactful. But the winds are going to be horrendous with this storm, the heavy rain, and then over to snow in some areas, especially in areas of elevation. This system's going to kind of linger around, so still breezy again on Saturday morning. The winds are going to diminish in the afternoon, and the rest of the weekend turns out pretty nice, but just chilly. So mostly sunny here on Sunday and Monday. Tuesday, we're having increasing clouds with a system off to our west, and we're going to watch for another system coming in here that could bring rain and or snow showers, depending on where you're at for the next Wednesday time frame. I'm not sold right now that this is just a weak system as shown. I think this has potential to do a lot more than that. We've always liked that March 6th to 7th time frame. So just because the models aren't really thrilled about it right now, that doesn't mean they won't be in a couple days once this system gets out of the way. So we are going to continue to monitor this one and the next one. After that period, we also like the 11th through 13th time frame for another wintry system possibly, but that is way down the road. But those are just the signals that are still there that we've identified, and we're going to continue to monitor. But our biggest concern in the immediate range, of course, is this system coming in here that will turn into a monster storm off the coast, and that is going to go right through the end of the day on Friday. I'm Eastern PA Weather Authority meteorologist Bobby Marchers. That is your outlook for March 1st, 2018. Have a great Thursday.